Yeah, this I'm gonna stick in the fire kit for sure.
That's money.
It's
right
a good
there.
starter.
I think there's more.
Look like a little stump sticking up. That's one of those palms that they cut down.
They got run over by a brush cutter.
That's definitely gonna be good. Yeah.
That's the heart.
Nice.
Wet now. Get the outside stuff.
Hold that.
Look, there's another one right by your feet. Look right by your right ankle.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
Brought my rum bag.
Oh!
This is gonna stick and stuff fires later for malfunction. I don't think I need the hard part. I'll keep it. Not all of it. Oh, this is a little wet.
Yeah, get the wet stuff out of there.
This is dry. I can dry it out when I get home too.
Oh yeah.
I'll keep some of that hard stuff.
See a bunch of horse people go by.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, go this way. And then there's a little tiny trail on the right side that cuts through.
Okay.
Where you going?
Thank you. Did you send me Lou?
So this is where all the berry bushes were, Joe said. So we're not going to be getting very lucky with very many wild berries. We're going to hike on to where the trail changes, because right now it's just now coming out of where it was really, really thick in the palms and not a lot grows in there. So we're starting to see some newer vegetation. So hopefully I can find that stuff.
You try the dog kennel, man.
Oh yeah, put that in my fire kit. Was it? Yep. Yeah, so we're gonna keep going until the trail changes back and start foraging there. What do we have here? A little pond right off the side of the trail. I love finding stuff like this. There's red berries, but I'm assuming you're not supposed to eat those.
Just to have something to throw in the fire that's dry.
Yeah, I can stick a couple of them in there too.
I've got that cedar from not Hidden Pond, Neil. I still got a bunch of that.
Goes in the old fire kit. It's a really nice area. What a nice little clearing. Very, very cool. That's what you meant by the chimney, like an actual chimney. Huh. All right, made it to the lake. So I'm gonna forage around, see if we can't find any edibles. Joe knows some, and then I showed him pictures of what I'm looking for. We'll see what we can come up with here. See behind me, we're on the dock. I left my notebook. I brought my notebook from the foraging class. There's only a handful of things that I'm looking for because I know I can identify it. Not much luck for wild pineapple, but it is on the list. The sleepy hibiscus, in case we see it, it's got the red flowers off the tree. I'll put a picture of each one of these up as I go. The false foxbeard, which I can only spot it when it has the yellow flower on it, but if we see it, I'm going to butcher the name of this, Oxalis. It is the 4-leaf, dude. It's like a rhubarb that I really liked. We've seen juniper, but I don't remember what to do with the berries. And then maybe the hairy cowpeas, since we're near watery areas, but I don't know if we'll find that. And I did find some tillandsia. I don't know if I'm going to grab any of that to eat it or not, but it's there. And sword ferns. There's the bulbs on the bottom I really like. We saw sword ferns earlier on the hike in, so for sure going to get those. And the Moby Dick is the Florida yam. If I find one of those, I'll be a hero because my wife wants to plant some in the yard, and I'm dying to eat one of those after seeing it. So those are the plants that I'm looking for with pictures of all of them. Like I said before in one of my videos, I really wanted to like bring some meat and just go and find some veggies to go with it. And I went to this class yesterday, and I can't imagine what it's like for this dude to be walking out in the woods. Like, is it like walking through a grocery store for him? Or, I mean, it's like this whole world's there and only he could see it. So I start seeing this stuff, and as we're doing it, I was like, I could totally make a meal with steak with this, even with just the raw veggies. Like, I can imagine having the oxalis with the steak, because it's kind of a rhubarb flavor, and then having the sword fern bulbs after, and it would be awesome. So in order to do the bushcraft, I took the plant course. I've got someone else is going to take me for a hike at the end of the month, and there's going to be some in my survival course, and I plan on going to another. So be bushcrafting with wild Florida edibles. Hopefully we can find some not to strike out.
The hogs can smell almost as good as a bear, so they know we're coming. If you're out here in the swamp, you don't really have to worry about running into them.
Yeah, because they'll stay away. That's what I read too. They never attack people unless
you happen to be upwind of them and walk right up on one, and the odds of that happening, their instinct is to charge if that were to happen. So you want to.
Yeah, and the other thing I heard was the people they have get near when they got kids.
Right. Yeah. They're gonna protect the family and all that. So their instinct is to charge you if they can't. You know, if they're cornered, they can't get away. So that's dangerous. But they can't. They're gonna be far away from you. They're gonna hear you coming a mile away, and smell you really.
And I was so worried about gators too. I didn't realize that they won't really bother you.
They won't. Only if people hand feed them food.
Yeah, and then so I also heard stuff like this. Like, this water isn't clear. Well, it's clear enough, I guess, out. So when you can see through the water, you don't have to worry about it. It's like this, where you can't see. Like, that's where the gators are going to be hiding. They're not going to...
This is cool water, too, so this is spring fed.
Yeah. Clear. If you could see in it, you're good. But, like, don't fill your water up right here, because it will mistake you for a smaller animal when you lean over. But other than that, I haven't heard anything bad about gators, unless, like, people have been feeding them and they'll come up to you then.
They'll run right up on them.
Yeah.
They'll just see a person and
Food.
they'll be like, food.
I've still never seen a gator, a bear, a panther, or a hog since I've been in Florida. I've not seen any of those things. And I've been increasing how often I've been camping and hiking and stuff out here. Oh man, this is just a really nice. There's the other side of that clearing that I stopped at. I didn't know it walked right up to the lake. It's a really nice area. These things go up like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Pine needles are big, like, they burn like crazy. You can get wet stuff going with just flaring up pine needles.
Yeah.
But they're always out here. That's what Joe was saying. They're always out here. This stuff hanging is always out here too. But I'm not going to be here.
Yeah.
We're building my kit for Illinois, and it's going to rain the entire time I'm in Illinois.
And right here, these two. These will make great bird nests. Very dry.
Grab a couple of that too.
Thistle that up. It's great tinder. There you go.
Yeah, so that's the deal here. I'm going to Illinois, and it's going to be 25 to 40 degrees. It's going to rain the whole week before I go, and then it's going to rain all weekend while we're there. So this is pre-planning, knowing where I'm going, but it's perfectly valid bushcrafting to have a good fire kit. And you could pick up char from your fire after it's done and put it in here too, to carry to the next fire. But that's what I'm doing. I'm pre-planning ahead to make sure we get at least 1 or 2 good fires when I get to Illinois. Struck out at the lake, so we hiked back up. So it turns out the lake is a pretty popular spot, and it's a lot of horses out here. So you can imagine what that means for foraging stuff. Didn't go very well. So we're gonna sit and have a beer and cool off a little bit, and then I saw sword ferns and stuff up by these camp things, so we're gonna go look there before we eat. So what we brought, I got my trusty cooler, And I got some shaved ribeye steaks. And I forgot seasoning, so Joe brought them. And then I brought a 2-pack of beer with me. Yeah, and then Joe's got a little cook
Taters,
kit.
Cliff bars. I got salt and pepper. Cajun.
Nice.
Coffee. Oil. Hot sauce.
Nice. Okay, and aside from that, I'll show you what I brought. I went ahead, since I was bringing the bag anyway, and brought the queso bag. So I have almost nothing in my pockets in my pants because I had to have the bag. One of the reasons I brought that is because I thought I was going to be trying my new queso GoPro camera, but there was an issue, just a bunch of mess. So I'll have to try that coming up soon. So I have the whole bag with me. And we've got, this is my new fire kit, which I've been packing stuff in. So that was one of the goals. And the other one was the forage stuff. So I do have a bear-proof bag. Let's see if it happens. Yeah, I've been hiking with them. Let's see.
I held mine too close to my face. Thank you.
Yeah, we've been hiking brisk. How many miles do you think we hiked?
Hold on.
Got my plant journal, and the pictures for these are in the same order as my journal on my phone. That's how I've been keeping track of this
About
stuff.
4 miles.
4 mile hike since you turned that on, or total?
Yeah, I did about 3 or so this morning on my workout, and we got 7 1/4 right now.
So I got my ground sheet too. This is in case I wanted to sit down, or if I found a big patch so I can pile stuff in. It was supposed to rain, so I got Mel's poncho. This is also like a cover, so I could use it to make a shelter if we were to maybe stealth camp or something. And then I've got 2 coffees as well, because I wasn't sure if Joe wanted the beer. So if he didn't want the beer, we were gonna make the coffee, because I found my single packets. And then I just got various stuff in here. I knew we were gonna fire, and I didn't know we'd have firewood, so I brought both my tools. Nalgene with water. I brought this just so I can dig some roots if we found those sword ferns. Medical kit, cook set, and then my fuel. Oh yeah, and I do have some wine. On the side of this, I brought my water filtration kit. And on the other side's my pack cover. And in the front, just various, like I've got my grill. I got 4 tent stakes for the shelter. My new fire steel wrapped with Gorilla Tape. It is the 1 inch by 6 inch one, so it's gonna last forever. And then my food processing knife. That's all that's in my kit today. So I don't plan on being caught out. We're just planning on hiking around. I guess one other thing why I got my stuff out, I went ahead in my medical bag, and I have my backup lighter. And I took the top off of this and then wrapped it in Gorilla Tape as well. And you can find, Corporal's Corner and Coal Cracker Bushcraft both did a thing where you could peel this off in a strip, and then even if this is wet, you could blow it out and stuff and light that strip, and it burns a long time. So you can even get a wet fire going with that. But yeah, nothing to note that you guys haven't seen. I guess the only difference would be I brought a poncho and the 4 tent stakes, so I could make a plow point or even just an A-frame with this if we were stuck in it, it rained and stuff or whatever. But I only brought this because it was raining. Then I grabbed these because if I'm gonna have the poncho anyway, what's this to make it a whole kit? And it was gonna rain, so I just swapped any cover out for poncho. There we go. And in a few minutes when I cool off, because I am sweating terrible, we'll go see if we can't get some edibles. I may or may not get it when we're actually getting it, but I'll definitely, if we get some, show you what we got before we cook. What'd you find?
I can't remember how to make a bowling.
I thought, you found a ridgeline though.
There's a couple of ridge lines right there behind.
Yeah, okay, I thought that was the one you found.
Nope.
Check this.
I'm making one.
People left ridge lines up when they camp. Now this is cool, and I wouldn't consider it trash in the woods, but I mean, pick up after yourself.
We're at a campsite.
Yeah, we're at a campsite though, so that's fine. It's actually kind of nice leaving something for the future. You gonna do a bowling?
Trying.
Are you not good at it?
It's been a little bit.
Let's see how, if you tie it the same way I tie it, let's see.
Look, come around. I gotta go, what, through the hole, around, back through the hole, and then, nope, came right apart.
So you, here, get a little closer. I wanted to see, it doesn't have to tie, I just want to see the process.
I can screw it up, no problem.
Because mine's different, I want to show you the difference.
I go around, through the hole, back around the original, come back through, and then what, there? See, that's why I screw up. Nope.
So the bowline, one of the reasons it took me so long to learn this is because it seems very complex. And that way, I would have been impressed that anyone can tie it that way. Here's how I tie it. I take this and I make a loop towards me. So the thing comes across. Then you just fold this back over the rope and pull this through. It's exactly the same thing you do to make the cinch for a tent stake. So you pull this through. Then you take this loop and feed it through that cinch because you want it to cinch down on that, and then pull it. Now you've got a bowline. So instead, I couldn't figure out how to do it the other way, and I wanted to learn how to do it for the quick ridge. So that's it. It's very fast. You make a loop, fold it back over the rope, pull the cinch through, then you tuck the tag in through and fold it back to the rope, and then pull that cinch. So if you're the way to think about it is make that cinch the same way you do. I can't remember the name of the knot to hang the bag hanger. You pull that through. You stick a stick through. This is what I call the cinch. That loop is only to cinch down on other stuff. So then I take what I want it to cinch, which is this part of the rope, to make the loop. Pull through, fold, and pull it out. And that's how I get my bowline.
Marlin spike loop.
Marlin spike. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I started untying it. And instead of the spike, you just stick the rope through and fold the tag in back over.
Right. So show me how you did it again. Show me.
Yep, just like that. And then you take, oh wait, no, I fold it over. Yeah, either way will work as long as it makes that spike.
Like that?
Yep.
Okay. Now where does this go? Around the back?
Here, let me grab it this way. So when I fold the loop, I want this loose end to me this way. So it crosses over.
Okay.
And that way when you fold it this way, it cinches down on itself.
Okay. Go like that.
Yep.
Fold it over. Pull it through.
And that's generally where you'd put the spike for the marlin spike.
Yeah, okay, but I want to make a bowline first.
Yep. So then you take the end that you want, fold this through, and then tuck the tag in back and hold it. Okay. And then you just have to cinch the knot down on it. So you keep it neat until you pull that cinch through. That's your bowline.
Okay. So now, do a quick deploy ridge line from my mini tarp. So we'll go around this tree.
Joe's got a mini tarp he showed in one of the bag dumps at the last video. One of the last videos.
So I got a loop here through the bowline. And there's my tent spike.
What do you do? You what about eyebrow height there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still mess the chuckers hitch up. I guess you're supposed to actually tie the loop in it.
Supposed to bring it over. And then bring this through. Or is it bring it over here? Do the same thing we just did with yours. Like that.
Oh yeah, and, yep. And then if you did it right, when you pull it down, it won't cinch up on itself.
So I leave it there, I come around, and then I come here and see if it's getting smaller.
Yeah, it's gonna cinch on itself. When you wrap the loop, it went the wrong way. If that happened.
And then I come through, and then come through again.
See, I was saying this in my other video too. This is how you bushcraft. Like, Joe's a good outdoorsman, and he wants to try something he saw in a video. We're out day hiking. I told him I was going to come up this way because we hang out sometimes. He said he wants to go, and while we're out here, he wants to do a quick release ridgeline for his mini tarp. So now we're fucking about and getting the knots down right, and like that's all it takes to get started in bushcraft. You can start with a tent at a regular campsite like we're at. Just start learning it, man. Everybody thinks you need somebody to show you. And I thought that first too, and I do. I get knowledge from going with people like Joe and the bushcraft group, but You don't need that. You can go and learn it. Like, it's on video now. We got YouTube. Yeah, so that's what he's doing, practicing something he saw on YouTube from a guy we both watch. It's pretty cool how you get to see, like, this is bushcraft. This is how we do.
I got tarred bank line. I'm gonna cut 3 small pieces. I'm gonna do 3 loops, 2 smaller loops that are gonna be about yay long, and then 1 middle loop that's gonna be about yay long in the middle. And those are gonna go on the ridge line, and those are gonna be for my toggles to hang the tarp up. And they're gonna be prusik knots. 3 prusik knot loops.
So the longer one is that, I think I saw him do
You can
a...
hang shoes up, you can hang clothes up, you can hang
So the
bear
idea-
up so the bears don't get it.
Yeah, we just hard work foraging those. So the idea is you set this line up and you get the bowline tight in the end, and then you put your knots on it, and then you take it down that way after you get it set up,
Right,
right?
you leave the knots on, you take it, you stow it, and that way if we're out here camping, all of a sudden there's going to be a rainstorm, you can get that line up quick, throw the tarp over it, and then we can put our gear underneath, and we'll have shelter.
Yep.
We're not that fast yet, but we're working on it.
I started doing the quick release after Montana because as soon as we showed up, I was already wet from hiking and it was cold, but my body temp hadn't dropped yet, and it started raining and snowing. Arm length.
That'll be the long one.
So that sold me on, you know what, if this happens, because it happened to me.
And I'll cut another arm length one, and I'll cut it in half after I make the initial cut. Those will be the 2 shorter ones.
The tarred bank line, I think I missed it. Why people use that a lot of the times. It's a good rope for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons we'll use it for the prusiks is because it's a smaller size rope, and that works best for the prusik when you put it smaller on a bigger size rope.
It bites in to this thicker paracord a lot better. So where if you try to do paracord on paracord, it might have a tendency to slip. This will bite in better with the prusik knot.
And it will. The thing I found with paracord is to do longer and do like 3 or 4 wraps, and that seems to keep it from sliding. But the tarred bank line is way better. I mean, it's smaller, bites right away.
This one will do square knots. Left over right, right over left. This one I know.
I always mess that one up, funny enough.
And when you're going to put the prusiks around, don't have the knot at the bottom or at the top. Try and keep it to the side so it doesn't interfere with your rolls as you make them. So
I always did them on the top or the bottom until I saw the climbers use a prusik, and they put the knot on the side.
once, twice, third time. Why not ended up on there anyway? But it's not sliding. But
Yep.
if I go like this, now I can slide the whole thing. I want to come back this way. It's not moving.
It's just neat because, I mean, you did that so much differently than I would have, and it's still the same thing. The only thing you got to worry about for the prusiks is you have to make sure this is neat. If it overlaps and stuff, it'll slip. But Joe's is neat.
The middle one. So, smaller square knot this time.
I always folded them together and did an overhand knot. I never thought about doing a square knot. My dad will be happy to see this because he's all about telling me square knot. He always says square knot. Good practice on the knot, though. I know I was tying them wrong, too, because someone suggested that. And I said, well, won't they slip?
Do it. Malt. Do a diamond with it.
I had extra tent stakes. We could make them, but you know.
This one's rectangular, isn't it?
I think it might be.
Yeah. But it doesn't have one in the middle. It's only got the 4 corners. You have to spike it out. This is why I practice, so I know this.
Yep. Perfect reason to practice before you get in the field. This is Joe's new tarp. He's never used it, so this first time we're pulling it out. Dry run, we find out it's rectangle and there's only tie outs in the corners. So doing something like a diamond isn't gonna work, and it's small enough, like ridgeline probably go lower unless you wanted to get under it from the rain and stand up. You figure out stuff you gear. You don't want to be 5 miles, 8 miles, 10 miles out in a mountain or something and then have your stuff fail on you. So you'd be at 35 degrees in the mountains and it starts raining real hard. And you find out then that your tarp doesn't work the way you thought it does.
Got 6 foot lengths.
How are you going to measure 6 foot lengths?
6 foot lengths?
Yeah.
Well, I'm 5'11". So if you spread your arms out all the way, it's the exact same length as your height.
So you got about 6 feet. Oh, you had a little tag end over, so it's a little extra.
Yeah.
That is a condor bush lure knife?
No, this is the swamp romper.
Still condor.
Yeah.
Oh, I want one of those sheaths that has this thing for the fire still right on it.
Watch out for these. They'll go on sale sometimes $45. Bush lure will fit in this sheath, but the swamp romper will not fit in the bush lure sheath because it's got this choil here, the wooden choil.
I've got a Mora now. I've got 2 of them. One I've never used, and this one's been working just fine. I soaked it in vinegar and water for a patina, but I want to try a different knife, and I want one specifically that works with the steel. So I was going to get a Mora bushcrafting knife, but I would see Joe's knife. So you want a bowline on the tarp?
You use a bowline for the toggle to do another.
Oh, so you want the loop of the bowline to come through?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I do a loop at that end.
Okay, so you want to toggle it through like this, and then we'll stake it down at the end?
Yeah, and then we can. I'll do the opposite corner.
What do you want for the stake, like a taut line hitch, or?
I guess.
Let me make sure this bank line still slides. Yeah, it does. Okay.
I suppose I could put some kind of a rock or something in here, coin,
Yeah, and make a little wrap on it.
and make a wrap on that.
Sure can. Two on the inside and one on the outside. I'm going to get one of those shirts from Joe Robinette's channel. The 2 on the inside, 1 on the outside.
What's that?
That's how you tie the taut line hitch. 2 on the inside, 1 on the outside.
Oh yeah, I never heard that.
Make sure she slides. Yep. I think maybe I pulled this one too much to start with. I shouldn't have staked this corner until you got yours in.
That would come out for sure. Oh, and that's what the large fur does?
No, that's what the taut line hitch does.
Oh. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's why I use it for. I used to use it for my ridge lines instead of a checkers hitch, but I like quick release on that. So now I use it for my guy lines.
Yep.
Yeah. You get that real hug in the ground. If it's hard rain, you won't even have no problem. This would be nice if you were just out in it. You know, get a little something over top of you.
No, dust in there.
What's your plan for the fire here?
I like top-down fires.
Top down
It's not too
fire.
windy, I always do a top-down. So I'll build a square, then I'll put all the light kindling on top so it falls down in and makes coals.
So that's what you're doing now. You're prepping the wood to make the squares with?
Yeah.
And that's the wood you're actually going to burn?
Yep.
Okay. And then inside the square is where you build the fire to burn? I'll see. We'll see. We're going to see what a top-down fire is.
You don't have to tend it. That's
Yeah.
the thing. You don't have to touch it for a long time if you do it right. Of course, I just cursed myself.
What kind of saw do you have there?
This is the what do they call it? The Laplander, the Baco Laplander.
Also not the pocket silky. You're a heretic.
Yes, it is.
I thought to be
Also cheap.
a bushcrafter you had to have that silky saw. I was going to get one, but now I'm not if you don't have to.
Well, it's cheaper, but it's also lighter.
I do like it smaller than mine. I got a pretty decent size one, but
The blades on those are nice. These cut two ways. The Silkies cut one way, but the Silkies cut more aggressively. See, these are like little triangles. And if you look at the Silky, they're cut back one way, so they only cut when you're pulling. This cuts forward and back. But there's a test somebody did online where they did them side by side. This one took like 40 strokes to get through, where the Silky took like 25.
so since we're into exercise anyway, I finally stopped sweating. It was the beer. So how many of these do you need to prep up to get going?
At least
8,
Eight.
from the way you said, to build
Yeah.
2 squares. Then you just finish up whatever you got, right?
I'll do this one.
I always do the side stack method where you put something up and then you're stacking the stuff on top of it. So this will be nice to see.
Just throw this stuff in the middle. There's a lot of ash in here. But, do two. Basically
Oh.
like Lincoln logs.
Yeah, and you get in closer with each one.
Then you can start stacking smaller stuff here, let it fall in, fill in those holes. And as the kindling starts to burn, it'll fall in and get coals going on the bottom wood.
Well, so you're going to set the fire right on top of that.
Yeah. Now I'll start getting progressively smaller.
So smaller ones start going across the top of the pyre you've built.
Magic marker size.
Is it just any wood, or are you looking for something specific? Any stuff punky, not punky? Like,
I never mind punk wood because it lights up pretty fast and gets a good flame going.
what about if you had any fat wood? Would it be okay, or is that a waste to use it? Or
Fat wood to start.
fat wood to start, but don't stack fat wood on your thing, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Especially not if we're going to cook on it.
Unless it's wet, or you're having it, the wood's wet, or it's wet conditions outside. I wouldn't waste it.
Yeah, fat wood is definitely good for wet stuff. That's a good point. It's wasteful to use it up for something so easy. If you got fat wood, just save it.
I could put some of these down here also in between. The coals from the top ones will fall into the...
So as it burns, it's going to fall down and catch the rest of your wood. So you don't have, it's going to tend itself by burning through, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, as long as we get the top ignited real well, put a lot of tinder up there.
YouTube will be the judge of that, Joe.
I know. Pressure's on. Pressure's on.
No, it looks pretty good. Simple to build. I never knew this method, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Small,
Could you do this with a wet fire too?
I suppose. I mean, I just try not to use wet wood if I don't have to.
Yeah.
I'll use the dry stuff, and then once it's hot, wet wood will burn.
So for this fire, you'd still process down to wet spot, and then just like every other fire, you'd throw the wet on after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it around the side so it dries out a little bit.
Yep, that's exactly what I do.
Heat, the wet will burn.
Yep, that's exactly how I do it too. So don't you process the wood for the dry spot for this. Don't put wet in here, but you can put wet around it when it's burning, and after it gets hot, you put wet on it to dry. Yep, we're blessed in Florida, I tell you, with fire stuff.
Anything else? Let's grab some natural stuff.
Some more pine, or
I want to see. This brown stuff right here looks good.
yeah, the palms for sure. I almost always use these getting a fire started. What's this here?
Not sure, but it's dry and crispy as can be.
That's what we're looking for. It's got a bunch of dried leaves, and all dry stuff's just going to burn like crazy. This is going to help make the bird's nest. Like I said in my fires before, you can see Joe's being thorough about making that bird's nest. That will make or break you. How good you get prepped, like he's got a stack built, the bird's nest. I would have stopped with what he put in the top, and that's definitely a mistake, because you want to make sure you've got everything you need. So nice thorough bird's nest. We got plenty of dry stuff in there, different kinds of dry stuff, a lot of stuff to catch the spark. Even if you have a lighter, that just makes it so much easier and keeps you in the same practice. What do you have over here?
This is part of my fire kit. So this is basically tinder. This is hemp rope. 100% natural hemp rope. Keep cotton ball in there. A couple of sticks of fat wood.
Yeah, nice.
And a little bit of pine bark. And then this is also a magnifying glass in case I need that.
That's a very, very thorough. That's only a piece of your fire kit, though, right?
That is my fire kit, and then I have this, my fire striker, and then in here, because I keep my cordage in here also, I dumped that out before. So in here I got, these are cedar strips.
So you're ready to go.
So I could process those down further if I needed. And then this is also another piece of fat wood right here.
So just like in a worst case scenario, so everyone knows, we could take this cotton and jute twine and these sticks and get something burning enough to catch wet wood. You just take the small twig pieces and get them going, and then you could burn real.
Yeah, the ends of those chunks of fat wood, even if I split it in half, if you just light one end and hold it up so the flame's on top, it'll like be like a little torch. So long enough, if you have a big fire lay with a hole in the bottom and it's windy or wet, you can put it under the bottom and get all the little stuff.
See, in a worst case scenario, it's going to have been raining a long time. You may be able to process some, but it may be wet inside. So you need to know how to start wet fires, but you get good at that after you start regular fire. But a fire kit, yeah, that's pretty much like a safety net for any situation.
Hope this goes better than my bowling.
Hemp rope. Oh, look at that. First shot. I'm going to order some hemp rope. Look, that hemp rope's still burning in there. Look at that. That is a great little tool. It's better than the jute twine. Catches a good spark, but it don't burn like that. That's still going too.
Yeah, it burns like hot.
We haven't done anything to it other than shoot that spark in it. You can see the wind blowing the flame up. I'll wait until this catches a little bit so we can watch it, and then I'm going to go out and catch us some plants to eat. You can see it now burning upwards. That's pretty cool. I like going out camping with Joe, so I always learn something from him.
He's a little cedar for good luck.
Yeah, you can see right in here the flame's now underneath, so there's no chance it's going to go out. You can see it underneath too. And as long as you got those embers and there's fuel above it, it's gonna keep going. So, got those aluminum air tools too. So, I mean, even if it did start to burn out, we'd blow on it. Well, I think he's gonna do it. Now the wind's picking up too. Well,
I think we worked ourselves hungry now.
Worked ourselves hungry. I better go find some plants. Well, I really didn't want to strike out, but it looks like anywhere that you could do any decent foraging before the palms has been mowed back. I'm sure there's stuff you can eat in here, but when I come up and look, I can't find any of the stuff that I recognize. I saw a couple things I thought were sword ferns, and when I dug up on them, I couldn't find any bulbs. Of course, there's palms everywhere, but we ain't out to forage those. So I don't know. Well, we do have food though, so it looks like just a strikeout on the foraging. It's no big deal, really. It was my first time after taking the class yesterday. I only knew a handful of stuff I was sure would be out here, but I'm sure it is too. I just can't find it. And I don't want to go deep into the woods on the trip that we're on. So, I mean, that's it. We brought plenty of food, so we're not going to go hungry. That's it. I gave it a shot. Yeah, here's another, just mowed. It's been mowed anywhere it came close to the trail. And then after you get out into the weeds a bit, you got the palms again. I don't know. Maybe when I'm better at finding these plants, this will all look yummy to me. I don't know. Looks like Joe fared better than me. I see smoke. You'd think there'd be stuff out there too. I just can't find it. Need more experience. I'm gonna focus on it this year though. I'm gonna get you guys some good bushcraft foraging filmed. Oh, fire's coming up out of the fire ring. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Oh, you got the meat already seasoned. Shoot, yeah, I struck out.
Wow.
I tried. Everything's been mowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we didn't strike out. We got that.
Cajun seasoning and vegetable oil on that.
Nice.
2
Nice.
cups of water ready to go. I thought it was one. I didn't realize it was sliced.
Yep, it was all thin sliced. Tastes good.
Okay.
fire ring, it's hot. There we have it. There's our shaved steak and taters. No veggies though, because I struck out on the veggies. Yeah. It must be good. Let me try.
There you go. Try that.
Oh. Shaved ribeye come up good.
Yeah. Some hot sauce there if you want. Some Texas Pete.
I do. Got 2 beers.
2 beers, huh?
One for me, one for you.
All right.
Boom.
Sweet.
Bone apple tea.
Open. Over here. This time.
Yeah, I'll hit this with some of that hot sauce. Something about this shaved ribeye I just really enjoy. Oh, you get either a dab or you accidentally pour that shit. What's the heat level?
Medium to hot. It's not terrible.
Okay. I'm pretty good with spice tolerance. Yeah, I love the shaved ribeye. Plus, you can do other stuff with it. You can make sandwiches easily. It's versatile.
I get the flaming London broils. They get 2 furs a lot, and I'll put them in the smoker and I'll thin slice them. And I use that for my meal preps.
Instant potatoes just seem good today.
Not too heavy in the winter. I think they're too heavy in the summer sometimes.
Yeah, it's just hard to eat a lot of hot stuff in the summer here. Like, just off the fire. Just don't care because it raises your temperature.
Yeah, you need like a good 2-hour nap.
Hmm?
You need to take a nap after. You were talking about getting a different knife and you weren't sure what you wanted to get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know those old hickory knives? You never
I have
heard of
very little knife knowledge.
Okay. Old hickory is like what they call a butcher knife. I'm talking about 100 years ago.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
They're like $12.95. It's a wooden handle, 5-inch blade, maybe a little bit longer blade than this. It's a very basic, simple knife. A lot of people buy them, and some people even grind them down and do different things with them. But it's essentially like a cheap Mora, where it's a throwaway. So if you wanted to get something that was wood and carbon steel and inexpensive, and it just comes with the knife for like the $13. But there's an outfit somewhere on eBay or something that makes whole leather sheaths for them.
Man, I really like this hot sauce.
That's good. And they sell it in camping size containers too.
Yeah.
But
It's just got that hint of the vinegar part in it.
Yeah, the old hickories are nice, man. They got them on Amazon. There's a couple different sizes, but
So you gotta make a sheath for it.
they sell them.
Yeah.
Not, I don't think Old Hickory sells them, but there's like a guy on eBay who makes them. Again, for another $10 or $15.
I was gonna buy one from Ian, and I mentioned it, and he said, "Oh, he doesn't do them. Just whenever he has them, he'll sell them." And then when I'm about to take a trip and out of money, he posts the one for $250.
Yeah.
I would have bought that one. It didn't work out.
Did you look at you subscribe to the Pathfinder store for their emails?
Mm-mm.
They just had a bunch come back in stock. They had one real nice one for $65 at a blow away a bushel or a swamp romper. The guy who makes them for him, what's his name, Jeff Knight or something like that, whatever. The guy who makes all the Pathfinders.
know a guy who forges Damascus knives, but they're pricey. They're good, but I mean, more than my price range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, eBay's a good spot for knives.
I'll check it out.
Even some of these.
I don't ever go to eBay.
Before I ever bought one of these, they have another one called the Desert one, which is the same knife, but with G10 handles.
What's G10 handles?
G10 is like micarta. It's like a, it feels like ebony, but it's like plastic.
Ebony.
It's like a carbon fiber.
Do you see John Carpenter's Vampires?
But it has the grip. They put them on handgun grips, G10s, for like combat pistols.
All right, I know what you're talking about.
So anyway, but I seen this guy.
I'm gonna end up using all your.
Sorry. I seen this guy sell the Desert Romper with a black injection molded sheath and the micarta scales on it, and he was asking $40, $42 for it.
Huh. Yeah, I need to look at eBay more.
They do have some good deals. I was an eBay hater for a while, and then I'm like, with the camping gear, you do well there, especially the lighter things like knives and things that ain't expensive to ship. Still ain't outlawed. But you know, a lot of people spend $200, $300. You don't need to, man. 40 or 50 is fine. And if you're not sure, buy a second one to have it back up.
Well, the good part is I'll always have my Moras,
Yeah.
and like the one is in with my first aid kit usually in my Teton, so I always have a backup knife anyway.
Right.
It's not like I have anything to lose. That guy on the bushcraft group, Russ, he sent me that folding knife. We liked so much, my wife bought herself one for her camping kit, and then both my Moras. He just sent them to me because he got a deal on them, and it was free. It was really good because I was trying to get started, and all I had was that I already spent $30 on what I thought was a good knife, and I hated it. So it was just my luck that he's like, I'll just send you these.
And the ones with the super hard steel that are like bulletproof, well, if they get chipped or a bird or something, you need to have them basically professionally sharp, or you need to buy.
Just ruined after that?
They're not ruined, but the edge is like. But this is a soft enough metal that I could do this out here. I could put this on the wood.
You could fix it. Yeah.
Get it to where it's sharp enough to survive. With some of these other knives, they're super brittle, and so if they ever did chip or break, you need equipment to. You know, if the hardness is too high, you need equipment to get it sharp again.
Yeah, you got to forge it and everything.
This, I can take my belt off, I can strop it, you know. I've even seen guys take like the end of a cut limb and fill it full of sand.
I still got to
or
learn
dirt.
a lot of the maintenance stuff.
Spray it down with some oil. Stropping it on the back of a belt, a leather belt. Like I got a $10, I wear it for work. It's like a $10 Dickies belt that I bought at Walmart or Carhartt, one of those. And I take it and I wrap it on a doorknob through itself. And I wrap my fist around the end, so I get like a 22-inch, 25-inch, and I just drag it flat.
Dad used to do it with his straight razor, but I just don't. I
Same
didn't.
thing.
I was younger that I don't remember how he did it. I don't remember. I didn't even know what it does.
Just dropping.
The only thing I figured out how to do, I put a patina on a knife, and then I've coated the one that I have. My backup knife is coated in foil, so it won't. I check it now and then too.
When you're sharpening a knife with a stone, it's basically like sanding something. And when you're sanding something, it's always right. First you got to use 100, then 400, then 800, then 1,000, then 1,200, then 2,000, and then you got to wet sand it with 2,500. And, you know.
Yeah, involved.
Right. So the same thing applies with sharpening knives. Like you're not going to use a 100 to 500 grit unless it's damaged and you need to fix it. If you're going to sharpen it, you want to go from 1,000 to 5,000 grit, and then from like 5,000 to 10,000 grit is Japanese, you know, sword or shiitake type thing, you know.
Yeah. Although that beer can thing, is always, I always think about that stuff because I even usually take them when I go hiking. Like I almost always have at least one beer on me.
Right.
You know, I could use the pop top for stuff. It's valid for me because and I pack my stuff with me too. So the chances I'll be lost in the wilderness without a beer can is actually relatively low.
It'd be in a plane crash.
Well, they serve beer and soda on planes,
Yes, they do.
so there'll be pop tops there too. But even like one of the we couldn't get through the hike here today without seeing a fucking pop can. They're laying everywhere.
Garbage bag I'm using, I picked up from over there in the floor.
Yeah, assholes. Oh, you picked up their trash?
It was just a yellow trash bag. It was a yellow shopping bag that blew away. Somebody, you know. I could. I'll use that for our garbage.
Yeah.
All right, well, the meat was good. Struck out on the veggies, but it's still just a nice day hike. We're just part of the day out, and then
Tick right there.
I think so. I think we got a tick on the table. Yeah, just just part of a day. I mean, we hiked out, checked out some spots for our camping. You may have noticed he opted in for the camping offer from my last video. So we're scouting some areas for that and decided to have lunch, and it was a pretty good trip. We're all packed up now, gonna head home, got plenty of time, it's still early in the day.
Oh, so good.